The 2025-26 season for Chelsea FC has been a roller coaster of emotions, with high hopes of reclaiming their position as a force in both the Premier League and European competitions. Yet, amid the optimism, there remains a cloud looming over the squad: disciplinary issues, particularly in the form of red cards. This season has seen the team face a multitude of challenges, including a surprising number of player send-offs that have affected their campaign's trajectory. Below, we will explore each incident in detail, analyzing how these send-offs fit into a broader narrative of discipline, team dynamics, and tactical implications. September, a troubling start. The season kicked off with energy and high expectations. However, it didn't take long for the discipline problems to become evident. Chelsea faced strong opponents right from the get-go, leading to intense matches that tested not just the skills of the players, but also their composure. September 20. Robert Sanchez versus Manchester United. In a high-stakes clash against Manchester United, goalkeeper Robert Sanchez found himself in a pivotal moment that changed the match's complexion. With the score tied and Chelsea battling hard, Sanchez controversially handled the ball outside his penalty area, resulting in a straight red card. This send-off not only forced Chelsea to adapt their tactics on the fly, but also showcased the thin line players must tread when emotions run high in crucial matches. The impact of Sanchez's dismissal reverberated throughout the squad. The players had to adjust to playing with a makeshift goalkeeper, which affected defensive organization and ultimately the match outcome. Observers speculated that this early red card could set a concerning precedent for the season. September 27th, Trevoh Chalobah versus Brighton. Just a week later, Trevoh Chalobah's red card against Brighton compounded Chelsea's issues. In a match that was shaping up to be a classic London derby, Chalobah faced an aggressive opponent who was continuously challenging the Chelsea defense. In a moment of frustration, he lashed out at an opposing player, resulting in another straight red card. The consequences were severe. Chalobah's absence disrupted the backline, forcing the coaching staff to rethink their defensive tactics only weeks into the season. The loss of another player added to the team's already increasing roster of absences and decreased their chance of climbing the league table. September 30th, João Pedro versus Benfica. With the transition to European competitions, Chelsea encountered perhaps one of their sternest tests against Benfica. While intent on showcasing their capabilities on a continental stage, João Pedro was sent off following a tactical foul that many felt was unnecessary. Although he was clearly attempting to disrupt Benfica's flow, the referee deemed it a last-man challenge, leading to another red card. This incident highlighted the increasing pressure on players to perform while walking the fine line between aggressive play and reckless abandon. For Chelsea fans, watching their team struggle with discipline in a pivotal Champions League match was disheartening. October. More discipline issues emerge. As the season progressed into October, it seemed that the disciplinary issues were becoming an ingrained issue within the squad. Matches became increasingly physical, and it became evident that the players were struggling to maintain control in high-pressure situations. October 18th, Malo Gusto versus Nottingham Forest. During a mid-October fixture against Nottingham Forest, Malo Gusto's untimely red card exemplified this ongoing struggle. The winger was enjoying a strong performance until he received a second yellow for an unnecessary challenge midway through the second half. Chelsea was already chasing the match, and losing Gusto was a bitter blow to their chances. The pattern of red cards not only affected Chelsea's results, but also became a talking point among pundits and critics alike, questioning whether coaching staff needed to impose stricter measures to instill discipline on the pitch. October 29th, Liam Delap versus Wolves. In the Carabao Cup clash against Wolverhampton Wolverines, Liam Delap found himself at the center of another contentious decision. Following a careless tackle that saw him receive a straight red card, Liam Delap's moment of frustration echoed the undercurrents of anxiety and tension in Chelsea's play. This was particularly disappointing given that the Carabao Cup could serve as a morale booster for the squad amid league struggles. Chelsea once again faced the repercussions of an undisciplined performance, forcing the manager to rethink strategies going forward. November, the disciplinary crisis deepens. By November, the questions surrounding Chelsea's discipline reached a fever pitch. The media spotlight intensified, scrutinizing each red card while raising questions about player mentality and coaching efficacy. November 30th, Moises Caicedo versus Arsenal. The high-stakes encounter with Arsenal ended poorly as Moises Caicedo received a red card that shocked fans and players alike. The talented midfielder, who had become a critical component in the team's midfield, was sent off for a reckless tackle, leaving Chelsea to play with 10 men against fierce rivals. This incident served as a wake-up call for the team. Caicedo's absence magnified the depth problem that had plagued Chelsea all season, and whispers among players regarding the need for more discipline grew louder. Yet it also provided an opportunity for younger players to shine, with the hope that they could seize their moment even in adversity. January, a new year, a new challenge. As the new year began, Chelsea's managerial staff made adjustments, attempting to address the high red card count. However, the uphill battle continued. January 7th, Marc Cucurella versus Fulham. In a hard-fought London derby against Fulham on January 7th, things took a turn for the worse. Marc Cucurella was sent off after receiving 2 yellow cards for late challenges.
His dismissal demonstrated how the pressure of the season had begun to wear on players, resulting in moments of poor decision-making. Cucurella's absence left fans enraged, particularly given that this match was a potential turning point in their league campaign. With mounting red cards, Chelsea's road to recovery seemed increasingly fraught with challenges. February, tactical adjustments and red cards. Resilience was necessary for Chelsea to navigate February, as the pressure was building on sports management to instill a culture of discipline. February 21st, Wesley Fofana versus Burnley. In late February, Wesley Fofana's dismissal against Burnley continued the disturbing trend. Fofana, known for his composed defensive style, stepped out of character with a rash challenge. The shocking nature of his red card sent waves of disbelief across Stamford Bridge. The experience of repeated send-offs was clearly taking its toll on the players, suggesting an urgent need for stronger mental conditioning under pressure. As fans grew frustrated, calls for a reassessment of tactics surfaced louder. March, the final reckoning. As the season reached its final stages in March, the red card tally stood as a testament to a campaign filled with untapped potential and moments of madness. March 1st, Pedro Neto versus Arsenal. In an ironic twist, Pedro Neto earned a red card against Arsenal just days after Caicedo's dismissal. Another match against a major rival, and Neto's moment of recklessness pushed Chelsea into the depths of despair, cementing the inability to keep 11 men on the pitch during crucial matches. This incident brought the total number of red cards to an alarming level that not only impacted Chelsea's league standing, but also affected players' morale. The repetitive nature of these punishments became a source of deep concern within the base fan, raising questions about whether the players could maintain composure in pressure situations. A season of lessons. As the 2025-26 season continues to unfold, it remains clear that Chelsea's multitude of red cards has shaped their narrative this year. Each send-off represents a missed opportunity, not only in terms of matches lost, but also in team chemistry that suffers every time a player is forced to sit in the stands nursing the consequences of reckless behavior. The question ahead for Chelsea is whether they can transform this tumultuous season into a learning experience. It is clear that improvement must occur on the mental side of the game, and addressing discipline will be paramount in reversing their fortunes. Discipline is not merely about adhering to rules, it embodies the ethos of a club. Success depends on a blend of skill, strategy, and psychological fortitude, creating an environment conducive to growth and achievement. For Chelsea, the urgent task ahead is to recalibrate, rejuvenate, and instill a culture that champions discipline and resilience. While red cards will always be a part of football, minimizing them could very well be the key to reclaiming prowess in both domestic and international competitions. The road ahead will undoubtedly be a test of character, but with the right mindset, it could also lead to a brighter future on the pitch for Chelsea FC.
In the competitive arena of the Premier League, few things are as consequential as the small margins that often dictate victory or defeat. For Chelsea FC, the journey through the 2026 season has been marred by a recurring theme: the inability to handle set pieces and maintain discipline on the pitch. After a recent 2-1 defeat to their London rivals Arsenal, head coach Liam Resenoir took to the media to address these pressing issues, highlighting the urgent need for improvement if the Blues are to salvage a successful season. The Arsenal setback. Chelsea's loss at the Emirates Stadium was yet another painful chapter in a season filled with ups and downs. Both goals conceded by the Blues were a direct result of defensive lapses during corner situations. This trend has become disturbingly familiar for a team that has historically prided itself on strong defensive organization. The first goal, a product of poor marking, left the players and fans alike scratching their heads, feeling the weight of missed opportunities. The second, a carbon copy of the first, only compounded the frustrations of Resenoir and his staff. These two goals were not just mistakes, they were indicative of a lack of cohesion and awareness during set-piece situations. Resenoir's frustration was palpable as he pointed out that these issues were not isolated incidents, but a recurring theme over the past several games. Same story, two things, he lamented, emphasizing the urgency required in rectifying these problems. The discipline dilemma. Adding insult to injury, Chelsea's discipline, or lack thereof, was on full display when Pedro Neto, after a controversial display, received his marching orders in the 70th minute. The attacker had been booked just 3 minutes prior for what seemed to be dissent towards the referee's decisions. His direct challenge on Gabriel Martinelli saw him collect a second yellow, leaving Chelsea to battle with 10 men for the remainder of the match. Neto's ejection marked the 9th time a Chelsea player had been sent off across all competitions this year, and the 3rd in 2026 alone. Such a record is alarming for a club that aims to contend for titles. Resenoir remains determined to instill discipline, believing that reforming this aspect of their game will be vital for success. The path forward. Resenoir's perspective remains steadfast. He believes that if the Blues can eradicate these two vital issues, set-piece defending and discipline, they still have the potential for a very, very good season. This optimism is not unfounded. The team possesses undeniable talent and skill across all positions. However, to translate that talent into points on the board, the focus must shift to creating a more disciplined environment and learning from past mistakes. The coach's challenge is not just tactical but also psychological. He knows that instilling a mindset focused on accountability and resilience will be necessary if Chelsea hopes to rebound and make a late-season surge up the table. This requires more than just practice on the training ground. It necessitates an ingrained sense of mental fortitude and a commitment to the team's collective goals. The role of supporters. As Chelsea navigates through these turbulent waters, the role of the supporters becomes crucial. A passionate fan base can uplift a team struggling to find consistency. The voices echoing from the stands can serve as motivation for players to dig deep and push through adversity. Additionally, the collective expectation placed on the club to deliver results can instill a sense of urgency. Resenoir is aware of this dynamic and embraces it, recognizing that the relationship between the team and its supporters is intertwined in the journey ahead. Continuing the fight. As the season unfolds, Chelsea must bear in mind the lessons learned from the Arsenal defeat. The team's next fixtures will test their resilience, discipline, and ability to execute set-piece strategies. The upcoming opponents may present fresh challenges, but the focus must remain on correcting the imbalances that have held Chelsea back thus far. Training sessions will undoubtedly emphasize set-piece drills and decisively addressing discipline issues, ensuring the players understand the gravity of these concerns. While the setback against Arsenal was a bitter pill to swallow, it serves as a wake-up call for the Chelsea squad. Resenoir's insight into the team's defensive frailties and the discipline required to compete at the highest level is both a challenge and an opportunity. If they can confront these issues head-on and rally around their shared purpose, Chelsea FC may yet turn the tide and finish the season on a high note, proving that the path to success often requires overcoming adversity.